Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Movies section is tiny. Well, not exactly, because we got a bunch of trailers and such, but yeah, it's all follow-ups and trailers, and I think I have one piece of brand new news, which kind of goes along with the theme of the episode. But let's just get into it, shall we? So our first follow-up has to do with Tusk II. We talked about this previously as being a rumor, I believe, even though Justin Long was the one who was talking about it. Well, last week I went to see Kevin Smith live, and he himself on stage confirmed kind of that Tusk II is in fact going to be a thing. Now, he did also elucidate a little bit more on the subject, as he is wont to do, that it's not anywhere near done. He hasn't even technically written a script for the movie yet, because he is planning on I believe it was a 2024 release for the 10-year anniversary of the first movie. He already has the rough outline. He kind of went through that in the presentation. Rough outline has to do with Justin Long's character getting out of the walrus suit and becoming the crazy old man himself. So very intriguing. He has pretty much the entirety of the cast back, everyone who is still alive. The entirety of the main cast back. Also very likely we'll see Johnny Depp come back, because that seems to be a relationship that Kevin Smith wants to foster and for all intents and purposes should foster. But yeah, this is going to happen. Whether or not it actually happens in 2024 for the 10-year anniversary, I think still remains to be seen, but that does sound to be the goal. And then hopefully before we get Tusk II, he also has on his plate the Twilight of the Mallrats movie, assuming Clerks 3 does well, which it should. Kevin Smith's fan base is large enough that they can make him enough money to fund the next movie, and if that happens, if Lionsgate gets what they want, then he will begin work on Twilight of the Mallrats, which is the Mallrats sequel. Again, like, what is that, 30 years later? Wow. Yeah, so that's cool. I dig it. Tusk II might not be the movie we need, but it's the movie we're getting, so there you go. Next, we're going to be talking about Blue Beetle. Angel Manuel Soto, the director of the project, recently said in an interview that fans should not be worried because the suits at Warner Brothers have assured him directly that they are fully behind his project. So, sweet. Thank you. Again, Jaime Reyes, I can't remember the kid's name who's going to be playing him, from Cobra Kai, is my favorite Blue Beetle. I really dig Jaime as Blue Beetle. I think that is a great character, and I'm super excited to see this. As far as I know, as far as I was able to find, August 18th of next year is still the release date for this movie. So yes, this is still happening. We're still rolling forward. Let's continue rolling forward with the episode. Next one up is The Munsters. Oh God, okay. Okay, so The Munsters has come out. Rob Zombie's take on the family at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. And, okay, so I'm more of an Addams Family guy to begin with, so let's keep the transparency going as much as possible. I am definitely an Addams Family, I prefer Addams over Munsters. But I still watch the crap out of those Munsters episodes as well, because they're great in their own respect. It just feels like Zombie was trying to do a shtick, and he didn't fully understand what made the Munsters great, and like his Herman seems off, and it just is not an enjoyable experience. There are certain elements of that movie that seemed interesting. Like all right, so let's get this out of the way. The basic premise of this movie is it is effectively rebooting the family of the Munsters. Not changing a whole lot, but adding to the backstory, which we didn't get much of in the original series. That being said, we get to see the creation of Herman. We get to see the dynamic between Lily and her dad, the Count. And those are the only three characters from the main series that we really get. We get a call out to Spot, even though Spot wasn't one that you really saw a lot of in the main series. He was just kind of an off-screen entity, more of a running gag than anything, but so that's the basic premise. It's the creation of Herman, it's these early dynamics between Lily and the Count, and then how Lily and Herman meet and get married, and that's where the movie ends, effectively. I mean, there's obviously hijinks ensue and things happen, and I'm not really spoiling anything because we all know that Herman and Lily get married because that's how the Munsters happens, right? So as far as like the super broad strokes of that outline that I kind of just weakly gave you, sure, it works. It gets to the end. You get to the point that you know you need to get to in order for the Munsters to exist. Yeah, so it's sufficient in that respect. But as far as like the characterization of these characters, there's a point where Lily, Sherry Moon Zombie, who plays Lily Munster, is doing this weird like Lily impersonation, and Audrey Hepburn kind of makes her way into the voicing that it's just so weird. It's so weird. There's so much off about this. I think the Count, her dad, the Count, is probably the most accurate of the characters that we have here. And then Herman, I think the thing that I appreciated about Herman's backstory was him being in a band when he meets Lily. I think that's a really interesting addition to the character of Herman, though all of the other additions we got to the character of Herman, the fact that his brain comes from a really horribly failed stand-up comedian, and who his creator was and the reason for his creation, and just pretty much all of the other revelations we get in this show are totally unnecessary and don't increase the enjoyability of the show. They detract even at times. So yeah, the Munsters is out. If you have nothing better to watch, which, I mean, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a thing on Netflix as well, then I guess I would say throw it on as background noise while you're doing chores around the house. But if you want to sit down and watch this thing, it's not appropriate for like a family setting. It's definitely not something that kids will or necessarily should be exposed to or will appreciate. And if you're a big fan of the original series, there's going to be a lot here that pisses you off. So maybe stay away. Go watch Edgerunners instead. Yeah. That's my 2 cents. We'll just keep moving with the episode, shall we? All right. So next in follow-ups, a little bird walking aside. Next in follow-ups, we have Fantastic Four. Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer are confirmed to be writing the script for this Fantastic Four movie. I actually saw this as a rumor inside of this set of research before it was confirmed, and so we're confirming a rumor that we didn't get to talk about because it's actually been, I believe we've actually probably touched on this because we've gotten sources from it before, because this is like the 5th time that they were rumored to be writing this movie, but it's had such an issue keeping directors. Now that we have Shakman, they can officially confirm that we also have writers, and they've been working this out with Feige for what seems to be approximately 3 years at least. So hopefully they'll have some good lore to contribute to the MCU around the comic book's first family. But either way, that's who's writing it. Aside from, you know, the fact that they're writing the Fantastic Four, they don't really have a whole lot of other writing credits to their name, and no notable nerd writing credits that I could find. So their quality of movie very much remains to be seen. So that's where we're at with that. Let's move over to Star Trek IV. Speaking of Matt Shakman, since Star Trek IV no longer has a director, since Shakman has left to direct the Fantastic Four movie, Paramount has removed the fourth Star Trek movie from their release calendar. Now, everybody's kind of losing their minds a little bit about this, and let me be here to, you know, kind of calm that down a little bit. Just because they removed it doesn't mean it's gone for good. They haven't said that they're indefinitely holding it or that it's been canceled or anything like that. They don't have a director. So they can't make a movie without a director. So until they have a director and they can confirm that they can still keep that date, it makes sense that they did this. We're going to get into other director issues in a second, but yeah, this just kind of seems reasonable on Paramount's part, so that they don't set a date that then has to get moved and then has to get moved and then has to get moved because they're still looking for a director, or this director can't work on that same time frame, X, Y, and Z. It just makes logical sense. So there's that. And then we have Avengers Secret Wars. This is another correction because I'm an idiot. I was uncertain last time we talked about Secret Wars. I was uncertain if the actual movie had been officially announced. We'd seen some of the art for it, but I mean, anyone can fake up that art anymore fairly easily, so that wasn't enough to convince me, and I lost my mind when I was filming that episode. But yes, Avengers Secret Wars is a thing. There is a release date for it, November 7th of 2025. That is going to be the end, I believe, of Phase 6. If I'm not mistaken, and again, I'll probably have to correct that unless somebody corrects me in the comment section in upcoming episode. Either way, I'm stupid. I apologize. That is what we have there. And then our final follow-up for this episode has to do with Blade. Speaking once again of losing your director, but Bassam Tariq, who was set to direct this movie, the new Mahershala Ali starring Blade, is no longer associated with this project. There are rumors surrounding this. Kind of speculate what you will, but at this point, they are getting very close to the beginning of their production date, and there are other directors who are trying to get this slot, but no one has been announced as a replacement for Tariq. So yeah, that's kind of where that sits. I would not be surprised if the release date for Blade got pushed back a little bit, much like the Paramount situation a moment ago. But I would be very surprised if Marvel pulled the release date altogether like Paramount did. They are more likely to just bump it until it's on track. That is what we have for follow-ups and corrections. Let's get into trailers. We got the final trailer for Halloween Ends, and oh boy. Release date is October 14th in theaters and on streaming directly through Peacock. I don't understand modern trailers. Like, this gives us all of the beats of the movie. Why do we even need to see the movie now? You know how it's going to end. I'm not gonna put that up here. That'll probably be a video unto itself if I have the time to do it. But yeah, it seems so broken to give all of the major beats of the movie in the 3-minute trailer before the movie releases. Whatever. That's just me, I guess. Next one is a very weird one. And that is exactly why I put it in here. The name of the movie is All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. It is coming to a horror streamer. I didn't write it down because I take amazing notes and I apologize. But if you go watch the trailer, the name of the streamer is in the trailer. And what the hell did I just watch? This is like, all right, so Hereditary will warp your brain because it's just that effective. This one kind of makes you feel, just the trailer even, just makes you feel like you've done hallucinogenics and you want to come down because it's not a good trip. Whoa, like it starts out fairly innocuous, like a little weird, but it's like, okay, this is a weird movie, sure, but nothing crazy. And then you get a little bit deeper into that trailer and you go, okay, Everything is upside down, black is white, everything you know is wrong. What is going on? And it kind of has me intrigued, I'm not gonna lie. So maybe it did its job, I don't know. But let's move next to, this is the big one. Deadpool 3. Oh boy, all right. So Ryan Reynolds has officially announced, and this probably could have gone into regular news, but it's technically a video trailer, kind of. Ryan Reynolds has officially announced that Deadpool 3 will be coming out September 6th, 2024. He posted a video to the Twitters, and in that video he also confirmed that none other than Hugh Jackman is going to be returning for his role as Wolverine in this Deadpool 3 movie on Disney. Wow, there is so much here to unpack. So the internet kind of exploded as far as like the nerd corners of the internet go, because some people forget a number of things, not the least of which that this is still comic books, right? We're still basically talking about comic book characters. And what is one thing that is kind of always true about comic books, to some degree, if not to a large degree, is that comic book characters really never die, because if they're popular, even if they're not that popular, because Jason Todd came back and the fans voted to kill him. So he was very objectively not popular and he still came back. So yeah, the fact that Wolverine is coming back, specifically this Wolverine is coming back, should not be a surprise, at the very least based on that information, because it's a comic book character and comic book characters never die. So the other part of this is, I don't know how many people forgot, but apparently a lot of you forgot that Wolverine, or Logan rather, was set in the future, like pretty far into the future. So far into the future that a mutant with a healing ability, which ostensibly keeps them young for far longer than most people, a mutant with a healing ability was showing signs of aging. We got Old Man Logan. We got just all of this. It was very much a futuristic movie in so many respects. But people are still saying, well, Logan died in that movie, so how is he in Deadpool 3? Because Deadpool 3 is not set that far into the future? Like, why is this hard to follow? I don't get that. Also, this very potential, we're not going to go there, but we'll get into that. We're going to do a short based on this, but yeah, just, somebody's got to do some comic book math, because y'all are messing up. Anyway, that is, wow, okay. And then our next one, oh yeah, that's right. We got Black Adam. We got a new trailer for Black Adam. This time, they actually had to update this trailer. So there was a different version of this trailer live for a short time, and then they corrected it a little bit, seemingly to straighten out some of the confusion, but they didn't really do that necessarily. So the confusion that I'm speaking of is Superman. So they show one of Batman's batarangs hit the wall, they show Superman's chest piece, and they show Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in this trailer. Now, all of this footage was taken from other movies to make this trailer, and then we get some Black Adam footage as well, so it is a proper trailer. But the community is going a little crazy about maybe they're teasing Superman in this trailer, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes is possible, but if that's the logic you're going with, then we're going to see the entire Justice League, or at the very least, the three main characters from the Justice League, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. We know Batman is going to be in this. That's been confirmed, if I'm remembering correctly, and I could be mistaking some of my DC properties, but I'm pretty sure Batman's been confirmed for this. But Superman has not, and neither has Wonder Woman. So if you're saying that, because they showed Superman's chest piece, then we're also going to be getting Wonder Woman, and that seems like a lot of characters to be juggling for this new... I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here. Yeah, it's... I don't buy it. I'm going to say that. I don't think that's the purpose of this. I think there is a more heroic intention. If you listen to the voiceover with this trailer, they're trying to make Black Adam into, to want to be a hero. So if you're showing heroic images on screen while you're talking about being a hero, it kind of emphasizes your point. I don't think they're teasing anything. But I mean, that's just me. Maybe your speculation is different. Let me know in the comments down low. Our next piece is our one and only piece of regular ass news in movies, and it has to do with James Earl Jones. So James Earl Jones is officially retiring from acting, which means no more James Earl Jones for the voice of Darth Vader. Now, that's not to say we won't be hearing his voice coming from the mask of Darth Vader to some degree. It just means that he won't be recording new sessions. So what Disney is opting to do now is they're going through AI software company, I just lost it in my notes, where'd it go? Respeacher. The name of the company is Respeacher. They are going to be taking over the role of James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, which also potentially means that throughout the extended universe on Disney, the Star Wars universe, we're going to get a more unified presentation of Darth Vader, because previously, when you just had James Earl Jones doing the voice, he was only doing the voice for, he did series work, some live action series work, and also movies, but he didn't do any of the video games or any of the other tertiary content. So now that we have an AI that can recreate his voice, we don't need other voice actors to do Vader in other things that are officially licensed from Disney, which kind of sucks because, you know, people out of work, but also as far as like immersion level goes with that kind of stuff, it makes sense because it's always going to be the same voice. You don't have to be like, oh, well, that's his version of Vader. This is Vader's voice. That's going forward. So they haven't said specifically that that is going to be the case necessarily. They've only said that in live action stuff and movies that they're going to be using Respeacher for this purpose. Congratulations on James Earl Jones' fantastic career that he has gotten to the point now that he just a legend, but he will be missed in the community for sure because, man, that man could act, honestly, not just do the voice. But that, like I said, is our only piece of regular-ass news. So, movie suggestions. We're talking Halloween stuff. We're talking Trick or Treat, the movie that we talked about previously that is coming to theaters for the first time 17 years later. Trick or Treat is an anthology. It's an anthology technically. Each little vignette stands unto itself and is just a lot of fun as far as like Halloween themed movies go, specifically horror movies. Each little vignette is unique in and of itself. I believe I saw this from Nerdist recently where they're talking about the vignettes are kind of illustrating what Halloween is like to a bunch of different like age groups of people. So when you're a kid, Halloween is like this and it's that vignette. And then when you're a teenager, Halloween is like this and it's that vignette, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty cool, man. It's a lot of fun. This is definitely one that we watch every year, usually multiple times a year, as we're getting into the Halloween season. So maybe make it part of your tradition as well coming into Halloween. Also, again, it is going to be in theaters, I believe, starting October 6th. So go watch it in theaters after you've watched it at home once or twice. So that is your suggestion for movies this week, is Trick or Treat. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.